to say Terrence Crawford.
Yes.
You know, that fight's gonna happen. Hopefully he beats Jeff Horn and gets that belt. And like I said, I want to be undisputed welterweight champion of the world.
Wait till he get a belt.
Yeah.
He ain't did nothing in the welterweight today.
You
When he
have
get
did
a belt,
nothing.
when he
You
get a
have
belt,
did
you want to
You
go
have
over
did
there. Keith Thurman want to go over there, and now y'all want to say, "Oh, I ain't fought nobody," but I got a belt now, so
Okay.
why?
Okay. Sean Porter got a belt too.
So now
Sean Porter got a belt too. Sean Porter. So why am I go to easy road and not Sean Porter out? So why am I go to easy road and not Sean Porter out?
So why am I go to easy road and not Sean Porter out? So why am I go to easy road and not Sean Porter out?
Who mans is this? Get him the fuck out of here.
And I'm getting mighty tired of your trifling ways and of listening to that jackass brain.
So what I do, YouTube? It's your boy King David in this thing, and I'm back at y'all again with another video. So before I get going on the video, man, y'all know what to do. Go ahead, hit the like button, and if you're new here, be sure to subscribe one time for your boy, so we can continue to grow like we need to grow on this channel. You know what I mean? Alright, so y'all see what the title of the video is. Wow, oh wow, oh wow. This is gonna be a fire ass video, y'all. This is gonna be one fire ass video. And if you an Errol Spence fan, or should I say extreme Errol Spence fan, because there is a difference. If you're an extreme Errol Spence fan, this is gonna be a real tough video for you to listen to, fam. This is gonna be a real difficult video for you to listen to, man. And you probably might want to click off. You probably might want to click off of this goddamn video, because it's gonna be riddled with facts, riddled with receipts, riddled with proof that a lot of the talking points you guys use is complete and utter bullshit. But without further ado, man, let's go on and get into the video, man. And really, the inspiration for this video is Errol Spence fans everywhere, but particularly the inspiration for this video is an Errol Spence fan, right? Another boxing channel by the name of Boxing Vibes, right? Errol Spence fan. And he put up a post, right, in response to a video that I did. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put it up here on the screen so we can read it together. He put up a post responding to a video that I did, you know what I mean, yesterday, as a matter of fact, in regards to a rumor about Terrence Bud Crawford getting a 3-fight, $14 million deal. And me kind of alluding to the idea that that's a low ball. So this guy, he doesn't agree that it's a low ball. And as you can read, these are his thoughts, right? So let's go ahead and read it together, and let's go ahead and systematically break down and destroy this man's talking points. You know what I mean? But here we go. He says Canelo Alvarez made $8 million against Floyd Mayweather in one of his highest grossing fights of all time. And he didn't make anything on the back end. Not to mention, Canelo Alvarez was Mexican superstar even at that time. Yet Terrence Crawford fans think that a 3-fight deal for $14 million is a lowball. Shaking my head. I think I've fully discovered now why a lot of these Errol Spence fanboys, why a lot of these extreme Errol Spence fanboys are so delusional the way they are, right? I think I finally understand why they're so delusional. I think I get it now. It makes complete sense to me, y'all. I get why these niggas are so delusional. I get it. I get it. You know why these niggas are so delusional? These niggas are so delusional because they really believe in their hearts that Errol Spence is Floyd Mayweather. That's right, I said it. These dudes believe that Errol Spence is Floyd Mayweather, right? Or Oscar De La Hoya, because I've heard a similar kind of comparison to Floyd taking less money than Oscar De La Hoya for that fight. I've heard similar comparisons, right? So these niggas really think that Errol Spence is Floyd Mayweather. These niggas truly believe that because Errol Spence does slightly better numbers than Terrence Crawford, that means that he's Floyd Mayweather and Terrence Crawford is Canelo Alvarez. That means that he's Oscar De La Hoya and Terrence Crawford is Floyd Mayweather in that situation. That's literally what these niggas believe. And they have, and I know they're gonna backtrack from this shit. They're gonna say, "Oh, we know that Errol Spence isn't a big star. We know he's not Floyd Mayweather. That's not what we're saying." They're gonna try to backtrack from that. But the fact of the matter is, you wouldn't use this as a comparison if you didn't think that. You wouldn't, because it would make no sense to you, like it makes no sense to me. There's no way you would do it. So since you niggas really believe that, let's break this shit down. Let's compare Errol Spence to Floyd Mayweather and Oscar De La Hoya. Let's compare Errol Spence to those guys, right? Because a lot of you dudes like to say A-side, B-side, you know what I mean? And these are the guys that originated the A-side, B-side, right? You getting all your information and all your logic from these guys, right? This is where you get it from. This is the template for A-side, B-side talk, right? I mean, I know what it is, right? I mean, Errol Spence is the big fish. I mean, you know, he's the big fish. He's the cash cow. Bud Crawford need to shut up and take whatever he's offered by Errol Spence Jr., right? So, if Errol Spence is such a big star, let's compare. Why can't we should be able to compare him to Oscar De La Hoya and Floyd Mayweather, right? Right? So first, let's compare the accolades, right? Because Errol Spence is the big fish. He's the pay-per-view star. You know what I mean? He's the guy at the welterweight division. So let's compare the accolades. Let's see if the accolades measure up to Oscar De La Hoya and Floyd Mayweather. So as you can see, Oscar De La Hoya is a 6-weight division champion. Held 11 titles in 6-weight division. Errol Spence Jr. has held 3 titles in 1-weight division. That doesn't quite measure up. Let's look at Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather, also a 6-weight division champion, has held 12 titles in 5-weight divisions. Versus, once again, Errol Spence Jr., 3 titles in 1-weight division. No, that doesn't measure up either. That doesn't measure up either. Wow. Okay, let's go to the numbers, because I know a lot of you Errol Spence fans love to talk about numbers. Let's talk about the numbers. Let's talk about the numbers. Okay, so let's start with Errol Spence Jr. Let's add up all his pay-per-views that he's done, right? All 4 of them. With Mikey Garcia, Danny Garcia, Yadinas Ugas, and Sean Porter. Let's add up all his pay-per-views, right? If you add them all together, it should give you a number that's anywhere between 1 million to 1.1 million pay-per-view buys between a lot of them, right? If you really want to be generous, maybe you can give them 1.2 million pay-per-view buys between a lot of them, right? All right, now let me show y'all something. Here are Floyd Mayweather's numbers in 4 of his top 4 fights, right? And you can clearly see that Floyd Mayweather, just in 4 fights, has generated almost 10 times more than Errol Spence Jr. More than 10 times more than Errol Spence Jr., right? In Mayweather Pacquiao, Mayweather McGregor, Mayweather Canelo Alvarez, and Mayweather De La Hoya. Almost 10 times more in 4 fights than Errol Spence's 4 fights, right? And like I mentioned earlier, you niggas like to use Oscar De La Hoya. Let's use Oscar De La Hoya just in the 1 fight that he did with Floyd Mayweather, y'all. He did double the amount of pay-per-views that Errol Spence did in 4 fights. Double. More than double. Okay? So once again, these are the people that you guys are comparing Errol Spence to. Sounds dumb as hell when you think about it, don't it? Not only is Errol Spence Jr. not fucking with Oscar De La Hoya or Floyd Mayweather when it comes to accolades, when it comes to accomplishments, not only are they heads and shoulders above Errol Spence Jr. when it comes to accolades, but they beat the shit out of Errol Spence when it comes to the pay-per-view numbers, when it comes to the sales and all that goofy shit that a lot of you niggas like talking about when you trying to say that Terrence Bud Crawford should take a B-side to an Errol Spence Jr. But let's keep it going, because you niggas need to fully understand exactly why this A-side, B-side talk is so dumb when it comes to Terrence Bud Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. You guys need to fully understand why it's so stupid, right? And the reason that it's so dumb, the reason why niggas like Boxing Vibes and other niggas that believe this shit are really delusional and don't know what the fuck they talking about, is because at the end of the day, an A-side is always able to pay the B-side far more money than they've ever made in one fight. Don't believe me? Let's watch, right? He gave Canelo Alvarez versus Floyd Mayweather as an example, right? But he left out the fact that Canelo Alvarez, in his last fight before Floyd Mayweather, made $1 million. And his highest payday versus Shane Mosley was $1.5 million. So what does that mean? It means that Canelo Alvarez made 8 times more in his fight with Floyd Mayweather than he did in his highest payday versus Shane Mosley. Do y'all get what the fuck I'm trying to say here? Let's give you another example. You niggas like to use Oscar and Floyd as an example, right? But did you know that Floyd Mayweather, his highest payday in his last fight versus a Carlos Baldomir was $8 million? But in his fight with Oscar De La Hoya, he made $25 million? That's 3 times more than he made in his last fight. And let me give you one more example, just in case you're not familiar with any of those fighters or any of those fights. Let's give you a modern day example. Canelo Alvarez, when he was looking to fight Caleb Plant, and he was looking to become undisputed, Canelo Alvarez paid Caleb Plant $10 million for their fight, right? But do you know how much Caleb Plant made in his highest payday before Canelo Alvarez? $750,000, y'all, versus Caleb Truex. The man made $750,000, and Canelo Alvarez was able to pay him $10 million. So Caleb Plant made more than 10 times more than his highest payday with Canelo Alvarez. A real A-side. A real cash cow. Real cash cows can give you your highest payday. But according to the report that I did yesterday, right, they offered Terrence Bud Crawford a 3-fight, $14 million deal. And once again, $14 million divided by 3 fights is $4 million a fight, which would mean that Terrence Bud Crawford would be taking a decrease in pay in order to get this fight with Errol Spence Jr. So you tell me, what cash cow lets their B-side make less money than what they made in their prior fight? I'm gonna need y'all to make this shit make sense for me, y'all. You tell me that Errol Spence is the big fish, he's the cash cow, he's the A-side, and Terrence Bud Crawford is the B-side. But Terrence Bud Crawford gotta take less money than what he made in a prior fight? And we talking about guarantees, y'all. Because I know what you niggas are gonna say. You're gonna bring up guarantees. You're gonna talk about how he's gonna get money on the back end and all this old mysterious shit. But all the numbers that I'm giving you are guaranteed numbers. They're not back end numbers, y'all. So even with a guaranteed number, Floyd Mayweather still paid Canelo Alvarez 5 times more than what he made in his highest payday. Even with the guaranteed money, Oscar De La Hoya still paid Floyd Mayweather 3 times more than what he made in his highest payday. Caleb Plant has no history of pay-per-view, but Canelo Alvarez still gave him $10 million. Floyd Mayweather was not a big star prior to him fighting Oscar De La Hoya, but Oscar De La Hoya still made him $25 million, gave him 3 times more than what his highest payday was. So you tell me, are we supposed to believe that Errol Spence is this A-side when the nigga can't even give Bud Crawford his highest guarantee? Is he really supposed to have the same privileges as an Oscar De La Hoya, a Floyd Mayweather, a Canelo Alvarez? Dudes that have won belts in multiple weight classes? Dudes that exceed his pay-per-view buys by more than 10 times in their last 4 fights compared to his last 4 fights? Are we really supposed to believe that's the case? And I know you niggas are gonna come with a plethora of excuses and whys, but you guys ain't gonna never be able to eliminate the fact that Bud Crawford, based on this logic alone, should be getting a guarantee of at least $18 million if he's supposed to take a B-side to a Errol Spence Jr. That's what Canelo Alvarez would do. That's what Floyd Mayweather would do. That's what Oscar De La Hoya would do. So before you bring up any of these dudes' names, I need you to ask yourself this question. Are they able to give Bud Crawford 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 times what Bud Crawford's highest payday? Because if they can't, then them niggas ain't really no A-side. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap the video right here. Let me know what your thoughts is. Hit it up in the comment section below. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. And everybody, and I do mean everybody, be sure to hit that goddamn like button. But until next time, I'm gonna holla at y'all. Peace.